I purchased my ticket while she continued her phone conversation. "Just a few more moments, sweetheart," Sophia murmured, her palm covering the speaker. "Tyler has something urgent to share with me." I remained silent. I walked directly to the boarding area, pulling my luggage behind me. The train to Seattle waited there, vapor rising from underneath its carriages in the chilly December air. We had organized this journey for 3 months, a romantic weekend trip to mark our 3rd anniversary together. The tickets could not be cancelled. The accommodation was confirmed. "Nathan, hold on," Sophia called out, hurrying toward me while gripping her phone. "He's experiencing a genuinely difficult situation. His father is unwell." "Then enjoy your conversation," I responded, boarding the train. Her expression showed shock. "You cannot be serious. You are genuinely leaving without me. The train departs in 2 minutes. You have made your decision." I located my seat, stored my bag in the overhead section, and retrieved my novel. Through the glass, I observed Sophia walking nervously on the platform, her phone still against her ear. She continued glancing at the train, then elsewhere, then back once more. Her lips moved quickly, apologizing to him, likely describing the circumstances to him, seeking his guidance on what to do. She never ended the call. The train began moving forward. Sophia's head turned sharply. She took several steps toward the train, hesitated, then glanced back at her phone. Her expression showed inner conflict. She lifted one hand toward me, a desperate motion. I continued reading my book. As the station vanished behind us, I accessed my phone and opened my carrier's application. Updating my number required less than 15 minutes. I saved the updated number in my contacts, then methodically reviewed my phone, informing the people who genuinely mattered: my parents, my supervisor, my closest friend Kevin, my brother. Sophia's name remained in my contacts like a marker of the past. I erased it. Then I blocked her previous number on the new one for good measure. She had the opportunity to board the train. She had 2 minutes available. Instead, she chose to remain on the platform with Tyler's voice in her ear. That revealed everything I needed to understand about my position in her priorities. The landscape passed by my window: leafless trees against clouded skies, countryside homes with smoke drifting from chimneys, smaller towns with lights beginning to illuminate in the late afternoon. I had traveled this route previously with Sophia, and she had devoted most of the journey to her phone, messaging. I had convinced myself she was simply occupied with professional matters. Now, I questioned how many of those messages had been from Tyler. The Seattle waterfront extended before me when I arrived that evening, wind sweeping off the ocean in briny bursts. I registered at the hotel room alone. The reservation carried my name regardless. I had financed everything, similar to how I had financed most aspects of our relationship. Sophia was accumulating savings and developing her profession, which evidently meant I managed dinners, travel expenses, and housing costs when she remained at my place for extended periods. I devoted that evening to strolling along the harbor, dining at a seafood establishment I had investigated months earlier, and resting in a large bed with nobody reaching over at 3 in the morning to claim the blankets. The quietness felt liberating. Saturday morning, my phone vibrated. Kevin. "Brother, Sophia has been contacting me continuously. She is panicking trying to contact you." What occurred? She remained behind to speak with her former boyfriend instead of boarding the train. I departed without her and modified my number. An extended pause. "Seriously? You genuinely did it?" "Did what?" "You finally stopped being her secondary option." Kevin breathed out. "About time, honestly. She has been disrespecting you for months with this Tyler situation." He spoke accurately. It had begun subtly. Sophia mentioning that Tyler had messaged her, simply maintaining contact. Then it became Tyler phoning because he required guidance about his new employment. Then Tyler was experiencing stress and required someone to communicate with. Then Tyler's father was diagnosed with illness and he had nobody else to rely on. I had been understanding, accommodating, even supportive. I had convinced myself that being an excellent boyfriend meant having confidence in her, providing her freedom to preserve her friendships. However, friendship did not necessitate hour-long phone conversations at midnight. Friendship did not involve canceling our arrangements multiple times in 1 month because Tyler required her. Friendship did not mean making me wait at a train station while she prioritized his voice over my presence. What should I communicate to her? Kevin inquired. Nothing. She is no longer my concern. She is requesting everyone for your updated number. Nobody has authorization to provide it to her. She is asserting you abandoned her, that you left her without transportation at the station. I laughed, a brief, harsh sound. Her vehicle was in the parking area. She drove herself there. The only thing I left her with was a decision she had already made. That is what I suspected. Listen, brother, I am genuinely proud of you. You have been too accommodating to her for far too long. After we disconnected, I recognized Kevin was correct. I had been excessively accommodating to her. I had contorted myself attempting to be the understanding boyfriend, the one who did not become jealous or controlling, the one who acknowledged her need to assist a friend experiencing crisis. However, there existed a distinction between being understanding and being a doormat, and I had crossed that boundary months previously. I devoted the remainder of that weekend doing precisely what I desired. I explored through Discovery Park, the winter leaves crushing beneath my boots. The trail was demanding, steep in sections, and I challenged myself harder than required, perspiring despite the cold. At the peak, I stood overlooking the city and felt something transform inside me. Clarity perhaps, or simply the straightforward acknowledgement that I was superior alone than with someone who made me feel isolated. I visited Elliott Bay Book Company and purchased 7 novels I had been intending to read. Sophia had consistently complained when I desired to dedicate time reading instead of watching whatever program she was obsessed with that week. I had compromised, setting my books aside to sit through hours of manufactured entertainment. Never again. I remained in coffee establishments and wrote in my journal, something I had not accomplished in months because Sophia constantly desired my attention when we were together. She would sulk if I retrieved my notebook, claiming I was disregarding her or being withdrawn. I had learned to write only when she was absent, which meant I scarcely wrote whatsoever. On Sunday, I attended the Seattle Art Museum. While standing before a contemporary painting, a woman with copper hair and a portfolio asked me what I thought of the artwork. I think it captures emotion in a way that transcends the visual, I responded. Like experiencing a feeling rather than observing a scene. She smiled. Most people simply comment that it looks nice. Her name was Isabelle. She was an art instructor at a community college, dedicating her weekend to studying methods at the museum. We conversed for 3 hours wandering from exhibition to exhibition. She possessed this manner of examining art that was simultaneously technical and passionate, discussing composition one moment and the sentiment a piece generated the next. "What brings you to Seattle alone?" she inquired as we stood before a sculpture installation. I needed to remember what it felt like to do something purely for myself. She nodded, understanding in her expression. Sometimes the finest companion is yourself. When she requested my number, I provided it without reluctance. No complications, no former boyfriend lingering in the background, simply a genuine connection with someone who was genuinely present. I returned home Sunday evening. My apartment felt different, lighter somehow. I had removed all of Sophia's belongings before the journey, a decision I had made several days prior when she had cancelled our dinner arrangements because Tyler needed to process some emotions. I had boxed up her clothing, her personal items, the random objects she had accumulated in my space over 3 years. The boxes remained in my storage area now, waiting. Examining my apartment, I recognized how much of myself I had packed away to accommodate her. My bookshelves had been partially empty because she thought they made the space appear cluttered. My photographs were in the closet because they did not match her preferences. My piano remained unused in the corner because she disliked when I practiced. I devoted that evening unpacking myself. Books back on shelves, photographs on the walls, piano positioned by the window. My space appeared like mine once more. Monday morning, I attended work. I was an operations manager at a technology consulting firm, and I had been performing adequately for months, distracted by relationship complications. No longer. I immersed myself into my assignments. I volunteered for the high-profile project everyone else had been avoiding, a complete restructuring of our customer service framework. It was challenging, complicated, and required extensive hours. I welcomed it. Professional work had consistently energized me, and without the constant emotional exhaustion of managing Sophia's relationship with Tyler, I had mental capacity to genuinely think. My colleague Brandon noticed immediately. Whatever you are doing differently, continue it. You have been exceptional all day. Simply focused, I responded. Well, maintain it. We require this energy here. Tuesday evening, my apartment intercom rang. Nathan, please. We need to communicate. Sophia's voice transmitted through the speaker. I did not respond. I pressed the button that silenced my end and returned to my laptop. The intercom rang 17 more times over the following hour. Then it stopped. Around 9 in the evening, my phone, the new number she should not possess, rang. Unknown caller. I answered, curious. Nathan, finally. It is Sophia. I obtained your number from. I disconnected and blocked the number. Then I messaged Kevin. Did you provide Sophia my new number? Absolutely not, brother. However, Daniel might have. He has been feeling guilty. Inform Daniel that the next person who provides Sophia my number loses mine as well. Understood. Wednesday, flowers arrived at my workplace. 3 dozen roses with a card. I apologize. Please contact me. I love you. Sophia. I presented them to my coworker Jennifer, who had recently gotten engaged. Congratulations on your engagement. These should not be wasted. Her expression showed surprise. Are you certain? These are expensive. Completely. Enjoy them. Thursday, Sophia appeared at my fitness center. I noticed her through the entrance before I entered, standing near the doorway, examining her phone, then at every vehicle that entered. I drove to a different location across the city. I made a mental note to modify my routine entirely. Perhaps transition to morning sessions instead of evening ones. Friday, my brother Andrew called. Sophia visited Mom and Dad's house. She was emotional. She claimed you disappeared and refused to communicate with her. I did not disappear. I modified my number because I am finished. She appears genuinely distressed, Nathan. She was sobbing on Mom's sofa for an extended period. And what did Mom say? Andrew paused. She informed Sophia that she appeared to care more about locating you now than she did about maintaining you when she had you. Then she requested Sophia to depart. I smiled. My mother had never been Sophia's greatest supporter. She had consistently been courteous, but I understood she perceived through Sophia's tendency to perform victimhood. She claimed it was simply a misunderstanding, Andrew continued. That Tyler was experiencing crisis. Tyler is constantly experiencing crisis, and Sophia is constantly available for him. I am not interested in being the person she accepts when he is not having an emergency. She mentioned Tyler's father has illness. That is fairly serious. It is, and if Tyler requires support, he has family, friends, and presumably a counselor. What he does not require is his former girlfriend being more emotionally accessible to him than she was to her actual boyfriend. Andrew was quiet for a moment. Fair enough. She did appear rather obsessed with locating you though. It is somewhat intense. Block her if she bothers you again. Already did. She was beginning to concern me honestly. Over the following 3 weeks, I heard through mutual acquaintances that Sophia was devastated. She had evidently informed everyone that I had overreacted, that I had abandoned her at the train station over nothing, that she could not believe I would discard 3 years over one phone conversation. One phone conversation, as if it had not been a pattern. As if I had not observed her prioritize Tyler's emotional requirements over our relationship for 7 months. As if I had not sat through countless dinners where she was physically present but mentally elsewhere, anticipating his next message. Our social circle began to divide. Some people believed Sophia's interpretation of events, that I had cruelly left her without transportation over a momentary lapse in judgment. Others understood the complete story and comprehended why I had walked away. I did not defend myself to anyone who inquired. The people who mattered understood the truth. The ones who did not were not worth my energy. I lost several acquaintances in the process. Michael and his partner stopped inviting me to gatherings because Sophia would become emotional every time my name was mentioned. Acceptable. I preferred having no friends than friends who expected me to accept disrespect for the sake of group harmony. However, I gained clarity, Kevin's deeper respect, And my Tuesday evenings back, the ones I had devoted at gatherings observing Sophia flirt with Michael while I pretended not to notice, questioning if I was irrational for feeling uncomfortable. Isabelle and I proceeded on our second date that Friday. We attended a ceramics class, her suggestion, and I discovered I was terrible at working with clay. My bowl collapsed 5 times. Isabelle's vessel was elegant and balanced. We laughed until our sides ached. "You are genuinely terrible at this," she teased, observing my 6th attempt cave inward. "Catastrophically terrible," I agreed. "This is humbling. It is pleasant though, witnessing you not be skilled at something. You appear like the type of person who is typically competent at everything." "I am competent at things that matter." Evidently, ceramics is not one of them. Afterward, we obtained Vietnamese food and discussed our families, our aspirations, the locations we desired to visit. Isabelle desired to experience the art museums in Europe, the Louvre, the Uffizi Gallery, the Prado. I desired to explore through Iceland's landscapes. We discussed compromise, about discovering methods to accomplish both. "You appear like someone who has understood himself," Isabelle commented. "I am working on it," I replied. "I recently concluded a relationship that was not serving me. It has been clarifying." "Excellent for you." Too many people remain in situations that exhaust them because they fear being alone. Being alone is superior to being lonely with someone. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "I appreciate the way you think." On our third date, we attended a jazz performance, a musician she admired and I had never heard of. The music was excellent, but what I remember most was standing in the audience with her hand in mine, feeling completely present. Not checking my phone, not wondering if Sophia was messaging, not anxious about what crisis would interrupt our evening. Simply there in the moment with someone who desired to be nowhere else. 1 month passed. My project at work was ahead of schedule. I had implemented a new coordination system that simplified our entire operation. My team was satisfied. Customer satisfaction measurements were elevated. I had transformed from a competent operations manager to one who was actively innovating. My supervisor Patricia noticed and summoned me into her office. "Nathan, the quality of your work recently has been exceptional," she stated. "I am recommending you for the senior operations manager position that is opening in February. It accompanies a significant raise and the opportunity to oversee our most important accounts." "Thank you," I responded, meaning it. "I appreciate your confidence. Whatever you are doing differently, continue doing it." I understood exactly what I was doing differently. I was investing my energy in things that genuinely mattered instead of pouring it into a relationship with someone who perceived me as a safety net. That weekend, Kevin invited me to a gathering at his place. I almost declined. I had been enjoying my solitude and my developing relationship with Isabelle, but something made me accept. Perhaps curiosity, perhaps closure. Sophia was there. She noticed me the moment I entered. Her expression went through a rapid sequence of emotions: surprise, relief, hope, desperation. She abandoned the group she had been conversing with and rushed over. "Nathan," she breathed. "Finally. I have been attempting to contact you for weeks." "I know. Why have you not answered? Why did you modify your number?" "Everyone has been worried." "I am not everyone's responsibility," I stated calmly. "I am fine. Superior to fine, genuinely." Her eyes examined my expression, and I could perceive her registering the modifications. I had lost the exhausted, worn appearance I had been carrying. I had been exercising more consistently. I was wearing a new jacket, one Isabelle had helped me select when we went shopping last weekend. I looked good, and I understood it. "We need to discuss what occurred," Sophia stated. "About the train station." "I can explain." "There is nothing to explain. You made a decision. I made one as well. It was not like that." Her voice elevated, attracting attention. Tyler was having a panic episode. His father had just received negative news from the physician. He required me. And I required you to board the train. You selected him. It is that straightforward. You are being incredibly unfair. Tears formed in her eyes, and I recognized the tactic. She had used those tears previously to obtain what she desired, to make me feel guilty for having boundaries. I stated I would only be 5 minutes, she continued. You did not even provide me an opportunity. You had 2 minutes from when I boarded until the train departed. That is how long it required you to choose between your former boyfriend's phone call and your actual relationship. I am not interested in revisiting it. So, that is it. 3 years together and you simply discard it. I observed her carefully. She had lost weight. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. Her hair, typically so carefully styled, was pulled back in a disorganized ponytail. She looked exhausted. Portion of me felt sympathy for her, but a larger portion of me remembered all the times I had looked exhausted as well, drained from attempting to be sufficient for someone whose attention was constantly elsewhere. I am not the one who discarded it, Sophia. You did that when you made Tyler your priority repeatedly. The train station was simply the moment I stopped accepting it. I do not understand why you are being so cold. I am not being cold. I am being clear. We are finished. We have been finished since December 10th. I am simply the only one who accepted it. But I love you. The tears spilled over. Several people at the gathering were observing now, but Sophia did not appear to care. I made a mistake. I should have ended the call with Tyler and boarded the train. I understand that now. I have had over a month to contemplate it, and I understand I was wrong. Please, cannot we simply? Sophia, are you still communicating with Tyler? She froze. What? It is a simple question. Since that day at the train station, have you still been in contact with Tyler? Her silence was deafening. That is what I thought, I stated. You are not apologetic you prioritized him. You are apologetic you lost me. There is a distinction. That is not fair. He is experiencing something terrible with his father. I cannot simply abandon him. But you can abandon me at a train station. Understood. Stop twisting my words. I am not twisting anything. You are still doing exactly what you were doing previously. The only thing that has changed is that I am not around anymore to be your secondary option while you perform support system for your former boyfriend. You desire me back because you miss the stability I provided, not because you genuinely choose me. She grabbed my arm. That is not true. I love you, Nathan. I choose you. I gently removed her hand. No, you do not. You desire to choose me, which is different. If you genuinely chose me, Tyler would have been a former boyfriend you conversed with occasionally, not someone whose requirements regularly superseded ours. I am finished competing for space in my own relationship. Kevin appeared at my side. Everything acceptable here? Fine, I responded. I was simply departing. Nathan, please. Sophia's voice fractured. Do not walk away. Not again. Let us discuss this properly. We can repair this. I turned back one final time. There is nothing to repair, Sophia. I am not broken. The relationship was broken. I am genuinely superior now than I have been in months. I hope you determine what you genuinely desire, but I am not going to wait around while you decide. Are you seeing someone? The question emerged sharp, accusatory. Is that what this is about? This is about me respecting myself sufficiently to walk away from someone who did not. Whether I am seeing someone else is none of your concern. You are. I can tell. That is why you moved on so quickly. You likely had her arranged before you even left me at the station. Kevin stepped between us. Sophia, that is sufficient. You need to depart. This is my social circle as well, she stated. You cannot simply exclude me. You created this scene, Kevin stated firmly. Not Nathan. He attempted to depart quietly. You are the one making everyone uncomfortable. I think it is best if you go home. Sophia observed the expressions watching her. Some sympathetic, others uncomfortable, several annoyed. She grabbed her coat and purse. At the entrance, she turned back. You will regret this, Nathan. When you recognize what you lost, I will not be waiting. Excellent, I responded. You should not wait. You should locate someone whose attention you genuinely desire because you never genuinely desired mine. You simply desired the security of having it available. She departed, slamming the entrance behind her. The gathering resumed slowly. Kevin handed me a beverage. That was intense. Yes. You acceptable? Surprisingly, yes. I am. Isabelle was waiting for me outside. I had informed her I would only be stopping by briefly, and she had gone for coffee while I made my appearance. She took one look at my expression and handed me a latte. Former girlfriend, she inquired. Yes. Want to discuss it? Not particularly. Want to go see that new exhibition at the waterfront? She smiled. Absolutely. As we drove away, I caught a glimpse of Sophia in Kevin's doorway. She had come back out and was observing my vehicle disappear down the street. She looked small and lost. I felt a twinge of something, not regret, but perhaps recognition. I had loved her once. That person I had loved had been real. However, so had the person who had repeatedly chosen someone else over me. Both versions could be true simultaneously. I simply did not have to remain for either anymore. Christmas arrived. My promotion was finalized. I started my new role in early February with a 40% salary increase and a team of 4 specialists reporting to me. The work was intense but rewarding. I was building something, creating systems that would outlast my involvement, making a genuine impact. Isabelle and I devoted New Year's Eve at a cabin in the mountains. We had been dating for 3 months, and it felt appropriate to do something special. We cooked dinner together. She taught me how to make risotto, laughing at my first failed attempt at getting the consistency correct. We played board games by the fire. She destroyed me at Scrabble, but I won at chess. At midnight, we went out onto the deck and watched fireworks from distant towns illuminating the valley below. When she kissed me as the new year began, I felt present in a way I had not in years. What are you contemplating? She inquired later as we sat wrapped in blankets under the stars. How different my life is now compared to 4 months ago. Superior or worse? Infinitely superior. I feel like myself again. I had forgotten what that felt like. She leaned her head on my shoulder. I am glad I met you at the museum. Me as well. Best impulse decision I ever made, conversing with you. You appeared melancholic that day, she stated quietly. Not broken, but like you were rediscovering yourself. I appreciated that you were there alone, choosing to do something simply for yourself. That was the first weekend after I left Sophia. I was determining who I was without her. And who are you? I thought about it. Someone who does not compromise on being chosen. Someone who would prefer being alone than undervalued. Someone who understands what he deserves. I appreciate him, she stated. I appreciate him considerably. In March, I encountered one of Sophia's close friends at a coffee establishment. Rachel had consistently been kind to me, and she approached my table hesitantly. Nathan, hello. Can I sit for a moment? Certainly. She sat down, fidgeting with her cup. I likely should not inform you this, but I thought you deserved to understand. Sophia is in a difficult place. I waited, not offering anything. After you departed, she kept insisting everything was acceptable, that you had overreacted and would return eventually. However, you did not return. And Tyler, he started dating someone new in January. Seriously dating someone. Sophia discovered through social media. Okay. She was devastated. I think she recognized that she had destroyed everything with you for someone who was never genuinely going to be with her. Tyler was simply using her for emotional support while he organized his life. That is unfortunate. Rachel looked surprised by my flat tone. She genuinely misses you, Nathan. She discusses you constantly. She claims she finally understands what she lost. Rachel, I appreciate you informing me, but it does not change anything. Sophia made choices based on what she desired in the moment. I made choices based on what I deserved. Her regret now does not erase 7 months of being treated like a consolation prize. She has changed though. She is not conversing with Tyler anymore. She has been in counseling. She is genuinely working on herself. That is good. Genuinely, everyone should work on themselves. However, she should be doing that for herself, not to obtain me back. And counseling requires time. You do not undo patterns in several months. So, there is no possibility. No, there is not. I am with someone who genuinely chooses me every day without hesitation. Someone who does not make me question if I matter. Sophia taught me what I do not desire, and I am grateful for that lesson. However, I am not returning to be the person she accepts now that Tyler is unavailable. Rachel nodded slowly. I understand. I apologize it concluded the way it did. I am not. It concluded exactly the way it needed to. If she had boarded that train, I would have devoted another year making excuses for her behavior. The train station forced both of us to be honest about our priorities. Can I inquire something? Did you understand you were going to leave her that day? I thought about it. No, but I understood I was exhausted. Exhausted of coming second. Exhausted of making arrangements that got cancelled. Exhausted of observing her expression illuminate when Tyler messaged in a way it never did for me. When she chose to remain on that call instead of board the train, something simply clicked. I recognized I could keep fighting for someone who was not fighting for me, or I could fight for myself instead. She claims you were cruel, that you did not provide her an opportunity to explain. I provided her 3 years of opportunities. The train station was simply the first time I stopped accepting her excuses. After Rachel departed, I remained in that coffee establishment for another hour working on a presentation for my new team. My phone vibrated with a message from Isabelle. Dinner at my place tonight. I am making that pasta you adore. I smiled. Isabelle and I had developed a routine over the past few months. Wednesday dinners at her place, Friday dates exploring the city, Sunday mornings at the farmer's market. It was easy, comfortable, and most importantly, consistent. She appeared when she stated she would. She did not cancel arrangements. When we were together, she was genuinely present. April brought warmer weather and a business trip to San Diego. My team had secured a massive client, a technology startup seeking to restructure their entire operations system. It was worth over $3 million, and it was largely due to the innovative approach I had developed. Patricia informed me I was on the shortlist for director when she retired in 3 years. You are exactly the type of leader we require, she stated. Someone who innovates, who advances the team forward, who is not afraid to take calculated risks. I walked along the harbor on my final evening there, phone in hand, video conversing with Isabelle. The view is incredible, she stated, perceiving the bay behind me. I wish I was there. Next time you are accompanying me. The company will finance a companion on trips over a week. Is that a promotion benefit or a boyfriend benefit? Both. Though I am hoping we can upgrade that title soon. She blushed. Are you requesting me to be your girlfriend officially? Because I thought we already were. We are. However, I desired to ensure you understood I was serious about this. About us. I am serious as well, she stated softly. More serious than I have been about anyone in an extended time. After we disconnected, I remained on a bench and observed the sunset paint the bay in shades of orange and pink. My phone vibrated with a message from an unknown number. I heard you obtained promoted. Congratulations. You deserved it. I am proud of you, even if I do not have the right to be anymore. I hope you are happy. S. I stared at the message for an extended moment. Then I deleted it and blocked the number. Some chapters close not with dramatic confrontations or tearful reconciliations, but with quiet decisions to keep moving forward. Sophia had taught me something valuable, that love without choice is simply habit, that being someone's priority means they demonstrate through actions not words, that I deserve to be with someone who did not need to lose me to recognize my worth. I had devoted 3 years attempting to be sufficient for someone who was looking elsewhere. I had devoted the last 5 months being more than sufficient for myself and building something genuine with someone who perceived my value from day one. The distinction was night and day. I retrieved my laptop and made several final adjustments to my presentation. Tomorrow, I would walk into that conference room and showcase the work that had consumed my energy over the past few months, work I had poured myself into after reclaiming all the emotional capacity I had been wasting on a one-sided relationship. My phone vibrated again. Isabelle sending me a photo of the painting she was working on, a landscape of the Washington coast from our Seattle trip where we had first met. This one is for you, her message stated. For the men who taught me that people who value themselves are the most attractive people in the world. I smiled and messaged back. I learned it from walking away from someone who did not. Their loss, she replied immediately. My gain. I could not argue with that. The San Diego presentation was a success. The client signed a 4-year contract worth millions. My team celebrated that night with dinner at a restaurant overlooking the city. Patricia pulled me aside during dessert. You have transformed in the past few months, she stated. I do not understand what changed, but you are operating at a completely different level now. Focused, strategic, confident. This is the Nathan I always understood was in there. I stopped accepting situations that did not serve me, I responded simply. In all areas of my life. Well, continue it. The board noticed your work on the Harrison account. They are impressed. Between you and me, that director position might arrive sooner than 3 years. That weekend, Isabelle came to visit. We devoted Saturday morning at the farmer's market, bought fresh ingredients, and devoted the afternoon cooking together in my kitchen. She had brought her painting of the Washington coast, now finished, and we hung it above my sofa. It looks perfect there, she stated, stepping back to admire it. It genuinely does. She turned to face me, suddenly nervous. I need to inform you something. My stomach tightened slightly. Okay. I am falling in love with you. I understand it has only been 5 months and perhaps that is too soon to state it, but I believe in being honest about how I feel. You do not have to state anything back. I simply desired you to understand. I pulled her close. It is not too soon. I am falling in love with you as well. She exhaled in relief and wrapped her arms around me. I was so nervous to state that. Why? Because you are the first person I have dated who is genuinely emotionally accessible, who appears consistently, who does not perform games or keep me guessing. It almost appeared too good to be true, and I was concerned I would scare you off by coming on too strong. You could not scare me off. You are exactly what I did not understand I was missing. You are what I should have been seeking all along. We kissed, and in that moment I felt the last residual attachment to my previous life dissolve completely. Sophia was my past, a lesson learned, a chapter closed. Isabelle was my present, possibly my future. However, most importantly, I was my own foundation now, solid, stable, unshakable. I had learned that self-respect was non-negotiable, that walking away from disrespect was not cruel but self-preservation, that the correct person would not make you compete for their attention or question where you stood. Sophia had taught me what I would not tolerate. Isabelle was teaching me what I deserved. However, the train station in December, that moment when I purchased my ticket and boarded alone, had taught me the most important lesson of all. Sometimes love means walking away, and sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to keep walking, change your number, and never look back.
Respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you walk away for. He chose peace over confusion, clarity over comfort. And in doing so, he rewrote his story. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.